Oh boy, gee willikers, I sure can't wait to go check my YouTube channel out. It's very epic and cool sauce. Oh, that's a couple views. Uh, even if it's only for that video, and the views don't follow, I guess it's nice that you guys liked the video. I'm gonna stop stalling now, as you know why you're watching this, and I know I'm recording this. This ship, better known as Fleef, is a lot less popular than the previous ship I talked over, but it's still fairly popular, and I shall be going over it much to my own joy. Our good old ship starts at the very beginning, Chapter 1. While we don't get much of anything, we do see the two of them hanging out near the beginning, which is a pretty good starting point, I suppose. Chapter 2 also follows the same principle, with us not getting very much, but we do get a couple good scenes of them hanging out and giving a bow tie to Sunshine as a gift. Another very small detail, but of note. Again, with Chapter 3, the same thing follows. We get a very small scene of them hanging out, walking into the warehouse where Lazuli and Speed had been locked inside, and with my absolute horror, with tears in my eyes, we do unfortunately get nothing in Chapter 4 at all. I believe they're not even on screen until the end. But, oh no, it's so horrible. We arrive very quickly at Chapter 5. We skip the first 6 special chapters, as they only contain backstory for our characters. And here, I am happy to say, we do get a bit of decent content. We see more scenes of the two of them just hanging out, and Flare does blush pretty badly when Flare asks about whether the two of them are dating, which pretty much confirms that Flare does like Leaf, but hasn't made an approach and possibly just doesn't know how, maybe. The two of them then talk to Mrs. Molly and a couple other things. And we do also get a pretty cute scene of Leaf having Flare try something while they're eating. It's silly. And I like it. It's pretty silly. And the bulk of this chapter actually comes from around the end of Chapter 5. Leaf walks out to the balcony where Flare is to find him, stargazing. The two of them talk about their parents, and Flare tears up just a little bit, revealing his virus to Leaf. And, Leaf obviously is a little worried about the quote-unquote thing inside of Flare, as he describes it, because it may be hurting him. After this, Leaf actually admits to finding Flare cute and hugs him. I don't think that there are any other ships in this entire series that have a scene like this. Well, I guess Lazuli and Speed maybe, but I like that. This is pretty cool. It's pretty epic. This scene just makes me happy. It's joyful, even. And I'm getting off topic, aren't I? Yes, sir, I am. This scene is short-lived because, as you all know, Bolt shows up and interrupts this scene. And, I remember saying this scene didn't piss me off that much. And I can say with confidence that I revoke my previous statement. Moving on. Special Chapter 7, just like Special Chapter 4, has little to no scenes including them, but we just probably can assume that they interact off-screen because... Now, Special Chapter 8? Poofy Flare. Poofy. Ah, man. What a goober. Alright, on a more serious note, Chapter 8 has very little, but we do get Chapter 8.1, which is a very small edition that focuses on Flare, and Leaf is just more conveniently there. And Flare does get, I believe, a chocolate bar from Leaf, kind of as like a sign of friendship. There's massive air quotes on that friendship because they never really clarify if they're dating in these chapters. So I'll just kind of go with that because I'm not including the after story because that's a whole lot of work, and the after story is massive. Now, honestly, and there's one other scene that I wanted to show off that I thought was it was. It's both comedic and cool. I really liked it, and it's probably on screen, but it kind of assists with the story and makes me laugh. It was a good scene. Later in this small subsection of 8.1, they talk with Bolt, and Leaf asks Bolt if she knew an Arcanine known as Alfred. Spoiler alert, it's her father. After learning what happened to Alfred, Leaf gets a bit down. When Flare questions, she claims that her mother just knew him. Flare obviously shows a lot of care for Leaf in this page, and I like that scene a lot. Alright, good old special chapter 9. In the beginning, we get probably one of the best pages in the entire thing. Leaf hugs Flare in a very, very, very comedic way in the background of a Lazuli-centered page, and I love that page. And after looking around this chapter, I found a page that I don't remember. And it makes me mad because I like this page. This page is cute. It's a good page. I like that page. But moving on from my ignorance, we get probably my least liked thing in the past, 14 chapters. We get Eye Patch Flare. Oh my god, he's so edgy. But Leaf does support Flare in covering his eye, which is nice, I suppose. Even if I find Eye Patch Flare the funniest and stupidest thing at the same time in this chapter. I just can't get over Flare with an eye patch. Flare, no, not Flare. Eye patches and Flare do not get along. But that pretty much concludes Special Chapter 9. Besides Flare going angry mode and doing some angry stuff, Special Chapter 10, after a couple pages, does give us a couple pages that include Leaf and Black, which does translate into Leaf and Flare later on. And I'm not going to pull those pages up because I've already pulled them up in Leaf's character analysis. But they are really good pages. I did find them really cute. And even if they're not 100% a Flare and Leaf thing, and more or less they're a Leaf and Black thing, Black does call Leaf Flare's girlfriend, and I did find that pretty comical, and that pretty much concludes Special Chapter 10. And unfortunately, Special Chapter 11 does not have anything to do with Leaf and Flare, and is around where the story started to wrap up. Special Chapter 12A, much to my shame to say, is also pretty silent on Leaf because, well, it's literally it is the conclusion chapter. And man, that just feels wrong to say. The conclusion chapter? It hurts. Anyways, and now that we've gotten past the info part of this, we can get into the actual, talking part of the ship, which is also one of the shortest parts. After looking over my info, I can say with confidence, this is the definite ship for these two characters. There really isn't any, competition between these two, besides a couple scenes with Black, which are actually pretty cool. But it's very obvious that Flare likes Leaf and Leaf likes Flare, and, Obviously, I'm a bit biased towards Fleef, but I don't really care. But thankfully, I have put my bias aside to rate this ship on a scale 1 to 10. 10. 10 out of 10. This ship is very friendly from the start, and it's very cute at that. It's obvious both parties involved here really like one another, and it makes for an interesting development. And even if neither of them directly say it's an interesting ship. If not, it's one of the best. But that's just my opinion. If you got another, feel free to let me know, and don't feel pressured to think my thoughts. And with that, have yourself a good day, evening, or night, wherever you may find yourself in the world. Peace. And Special Chapter 12A